You get there, Sean? Eat it. Yeah, you good? Okay. Hey everybody, welcome to, I guess it's like my second video of me actually talking, but it's technically my third video of Wouldn't You Rather Be Stephanie. We are in the Netherlands right now because JV had some doctor's appointments and I had some things I had to do. So we went ahead and came, and that's why we are here. And we're still on lockdown in France, so it's not a lot for us to do. So it's kind of a little bit of an extended stay here for us. But it was essential travel. So it wasn't like we just decided, oh, we're gonna go spend some time in the Netherlands. Nah, we actually had essential things to do. So it's cold, very cold for this Floridian. It is currently 4 degrees Celsius, so that's probably like 37-ish, 38 degrees Fahrenheit. So very cold for me. Yeah, it's been fun. It's a little frustrating because there's a lot of things I love about the Netherlands. We lived in the Netherlands at the end of 2018 into August of 2019. So, it was fun in the Netherlands. And there's a lot of things I really love about the Netherlands, but there's a lot of things I really don't love about the Netherlands. Just like there's a lot of things I really love about France and a lot of things I really don't love about France. So it's hard. Today I was going to kind of talk about the issues that a lot of expats face with trying to figure out kind of where do I belong? Where do I belong in my life, in my home? Where should my home base be? Like, where do I want to set up roots? And it's hard. It's really hard, especially so for me, it's always been a little more difficult because I'm not just American. I'm also I'm half German. My mom is from Germany. I grew up spending a lot of time in Germany. And there are some times that I felt more at home in Germany than I did in the US. But then there were other times that I feel more at home in the US than I did in Germany. So it's really complicated because as the child of an immigrant, having still a very strong tie to your family's native country, it gets really complicated because you're just like, okay, where do I fit in? And another, a lot of problems that I used to have as a kid was I would go over to my friends' houses to eat dinner and I'd be like, what are they serving? Hot dogs? Who eats that? Because to me, that wasn't a dinner food, that was like a snack food because it's not something that my mom ever cooked because my mom mainly cooked German food. She cooked some American things, but it wasn't like a lot of American things. So it was always a little bit of an eye-opener for me as a kid because we didn't eat the same things. And then it was just complicated. It's really complicated. And it's frustrating because when you're growing up, you're trying to kind of figure out, you're growing up to figure out where do I fit in all of this? And you have no idea really when you are from a multicultural family, because there's some things that you do that don't seem American. But yeah. So now, as an adult, what's happened is, since I've always had those strong ties to Europe, coming to Europe, I thought, well, you know what? Maybe this is going to be great. Because I lived and worked in Orlando, and I felt like I fit in pretty well in Orlando, but there were still some things that I really stuck out about. So I just trying to find a place where I feel like I belong, full circle, you know? So coming to Europe, I thought, well, you know what? Maybe this is it for me. This is what I need. Working for an American company in Europe. Maybe that's what I need. And I started doing that, and it was really hard for me at first, but I started kind of getting into the swing because France is not like Germany. France is not like the US. France is its own little thing. So it's frustrating because I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting it to be similar to what my experiences were in Germany, which was stupid on my part because it's a separate country. Even though they're both in Europe, it's still separate countries. So I was like, okay, this is not working out. And it was frustrating for me, which is also part of why we left France, because there was a lot of things going on with everything. I was struggling with the language, and so they weren't wanting to give me a longer contract because I was still struggling with French. I could speak French, but I couldn't speak French at the level they wanted me to speak French. So they decided not to give me another contract. And then JV was just a little burnt out of living in France. So we needed a change of pace, which is why we were like, let's go to the Netherlands. So we came to the Netherlands, and you know what, to be completely honest with you, the only part of Holland, like the province Holland, that I've actually seen is Madurodam and Scheveningen. That's all I've seen. I have not seen tulip fields. I have not seen windmills. I have not seen Amsterdam. Like, I have not seen any of those things. So I can't really fully comment on the north part of the Netherlands. I can comment on the south. The south is not a friendly place for an expat at all. I feel like if I had been able to live maybe in the middle of the country or maybe in the north, things would have been better for me. But living in the south was not a great experience because while a lot of people in the Netherlands do speak English, there's not as many people in the south that speak English. So it's really hard, and it's really a sink or swim thing. Like you have to speak Dutch or nothing. So it gets super frustrating because you're struggling. And that can really make you feel like you don't belong. You feel really like an outsider. I only made a couple of friends living in this area, and it was really, really difficult for me. Really difficult. So it's hard because there's a lot of things that I really love about the Netherlands. Like grocery stores. Grocery stores here are fantastic. The Albert Heijn and Jumbo, that's life. Like, I could live in the Albert Heijn. It's beautiful. And the prices for groceries are great. And I like the variety of groceries that there are. Like, it's going to sound lazy, and I know I might get frowned upon, but one of the things I really love is I really actually love the Knorr, like, world mealtime boxes where you just buy the meat and, like, vegetables, and then you have your meal. It's essentially Hamburger Helper, but healthier and European. So it's just, I like things like that, and France doesn't have that, and it's a little frustrating for me for that. And it's hard. It's really hard because every time we come back to visit the Netherlands, JV's homesick. So he wants, like, part of him just wants to stay in the Netherlands. But we both know realistically, the only place that would work out with our careers and everything is in the north part of the Netherlands, which is expensive. And the Netherlands, for a lot of things, is already very expensive. Like, health insurance is expensive here. What else is expensive? A lot of things are expensive. Taxes. Like, there's a lot of expensive things here. And that can be really frustrating. But the standard of living is pretty high here. In France, we have a great apartment now, but you can only stay there for 2 years. So we're going to have to struggle again soon to find a new apartment. And that's really scary because it's not easy to find an apartment in France because you need to have a permanent contract. You need to have this, and you need to have this, and you need to have this, and this, and this, and this, and this. And it's too much. It is too much. So it's a lot. It's all a lot. And it's hard. Really, really hard. And at the end of the day, you sit there and you're just like, where on earth do I actually belong in here? Do I belong in the Netherlands? Which I love the Netherlands, but there's a lot of things I don't like about the Netherlands. Do I belong in France? Which, I mean, paperwork for days and miles, and it's gonna... But there's a lot of other great things about France, like what your taxes do pay for in France, the fact that I don't have to worry about healthcare, things like that. What about Germany, where my family lives? I have ties to Germany. I enjoy being in Germany, especially in Bavaria, where my family is from. I love that. Munich is one of my favorite cities. Or the US, which currently is a dumpster fire. So it's hard. It's hard being a multicultural person. It's hard being in a multicultural relationship because you're always going to be sitting there thinking, should I have been there or should I go there? Or should I move there? Or should I move there? Or what about there? Or there? And it gets to be too much. You end up being like the scarecrow in Wizard of Oz. I mean, I can't be I'm not saying I'm the only voice of expertise in this. I'm sure other expats and other multicultural relationships and families feel kind of the same things. And it's hard for a lot of us. It's really hard. I'm happy with my life. I actually like my life in France. There's a lot of things I like about living in France. Like I said, there's a lot of things I really love about the Netherlands. There's a lot of things I love about my home country of the US. And there's a lot of things I really love about Germany. And you're always going to find that. It's just hard to sit there and figure out, well, do I belong here? Or do I belong here? Or here? Or here? Or here? Or here? Or here? And a lot of that ties into your education, your career choices, your relationships. All of that all ties in together. So it kind of, it's not easy. At the end of the day, you have to figure out where you feel like you fit into this. I'm still working on it. Some days I feel like I fit into France pretty well. Other days I feel like I fit into the Netherlands. Other days I'm like, good Lord, I should go back to the US. So I'm still trying to kind of figure it out. JV even is still trying to figure it out, and he's lived in France for like almost 10 years. So, I mean, it's not easy. Especially like now with Europe. Europe is so free and open. You have the ability to kind of bloop, 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 around wherever you want to go. So like I said, you just have to figure out where you feel like you fit. Not necessarily where your parents say you fit or where friends say you fit or anything like that. You have to sit there and think, where do I fit? And go with that. And I mean, you might get it wrong and then you might have to go to somewhere else. But you're never going to know unless you actually do it. You're always going to sit there and wonder, should I have done that? And the answer is probably, yeah, you should have. The worst that can happen is it doesn't work out for you and you have to go back. So, anyways, that is all I have for today. It's kind of short. It's only about 15 minutes long instead of about 22 minutes. So we're working up. Yeah, I didn't have a lot. It's cold, it's gross, doesn't work well for Floridian, and it's just almost a new year, and I'm ready for a new year. Really am ready for a new year. I'm not going to go into 2021 with too many expectations because, last year, but it's a new year. That's all I'm going to say about that, is it's a new year. All right, that is all I have for today. I hope that all of you had a lovely holiday season, and that you all have a wonderful, happy new year. And I will see you in 2021. Bye. I have some bonus footage of a cute dog for you guys. What you need for the end of the year. Hey, Mace. Hey, Joyka. You. Sit the mess, boy. Yeah, Joyka. What bist du? Ja, go kids.